Welcome back. So today, now we are at the end of the module one. We're going to talk about the water pollution. The definition of water pollution is water pollution can be defined as the presence of some foreign substances or impurities. It could be organic or inorganic, radiological or biological, in such quantity so as to constitute a health hazardous by lowering the quality and making it unfit for use. Water waste released from domestic, commercial, municipal, institutions areas, and that as sways, we call it as sways, and when it is coming from the industry, we call it effluent. So, as an example of a picture of water pollution, as you can see how much plastics and other, these are maybe that some sort of bottles, including some boards are putting on the top of the water, and that is basically termed as it considers a polluted water. At the same time, you can see that the effluents coming from the industry. There's a big pipe there which is coming from the industry and just drain it into the nearby water body. We can call it as a effluents. The sign of water pollution are the following. So basically, the bad taste of drinking water, offensive odor from lakes, rivers, or oceans, unchecked growth of aquatic weeds. So basically, this is the aquatic weeds, and they mainly happen when you have a lot of like nitrogen or phosphates present in water. Okay, so they basically go on very bad and like rapidly, and they actually destroy the water ecosystem. It decreases the number of fishes in the fresh water. So basically, because they consume a lot of oxygen in the water, or from the water, so other water bodies like fish particularly, they don't have enough oxygen to live or survive, so basically they die. Oil or grease floating on the water surface, so basically that is one. So this mainly happened due to the accident, leakage of the ships which carry the oil or crude oil, but it may happen because of that throwing oily substances onto the smaller water bodies as well, like ponds or small lakes. Okay. Cause of water pollution are the following: the soil erosion due to the rains, decomposition of dead and dying matters of plants and animals, food, etc. Discharge of untreated waste or sewage disposal having undegradable or degradable matter. So you probably have seen that black water coming out in the previous slide I showed you. So these are all like that wastewater that dump into the nearby body. Dumping of industrial effluents. That's what I was telling. Wide variety of inorganic and organic pollutants such as oil, metals, solvents could present in there, and that can basically mix with the nearby clean water, and that actually like damage the water quality, reduce the water quality. Uses of synthetic organic substances like pesticides, insecticides for the agriculture purposes can also lead to the water pollution. Okay, the classifications of water pollutants are basically the chemical pollution, physical pollution, biological pollution. Chemical pollution basically the acidity, pH, basicity, basically dissolved oxygen. DO basically stands for dissolved oxygen materials. Organic compounds like carbohydrates, fat, polymers, biodegradable waste causes the deposition of dissolved oxygen, because when these materials are present in that water, so there are microorganisms introduced by themselves, and they grow. They consume sort of oxygen, and that actually reduce the dissolved oxygen content in the water. Physical pollution, you can see the color, the taste, turbidity, thermal properties, the impurities. Biological pollution is mainly due to the discharge of feedstocks, cowsets, and uh, excretory products from the animals, wild or the domestic animals, that can lead to the product of the formation of bacteria, pathogen, virus, algae, and all those things can be found in water bodies. Sources and the effect of water pollution are the following. So basically, infectious agents like bacteria, fungi, virus, parasites, oxygen demanding waste like organic waste, inorganic chemicals which are harmful, metals, palladium, lead, all these things are harmful for the mercury. Yes, that's all bad for the human bodies. Organic pollutants, organic compounds like pesticides, plant nutrients like nitrogen, phosphorus, minerals basically used for that agricultural purposes, but if you use too much and then wash out to the nearby water body, and that can allow to grow all these weeds, and then radioactive pollutants or radioactive elements that coming from the main disease of thermal plants. It has a harmful effect on living organisms and makes it undesirable for the beaches. Infectious agents are basically infectious diseases are caused by the diverse living agents that replicate in their host. The agents that causes disease fall into the five groups like virus, bacteria, fungi, protozoa, and all these things. Examples basically the same I have been talking: bacteria, virus, protozoa, parasites, worms. Sources are human and animal waste or pathological exposure. Affecting variety of disease can be found due to all these pollutions, infectious pollution like jaundice, chronic fatigue, cholera, typhoid, tuberculosis. All these things diseases can be found. Oxygen demanding waste, this is basically that biodegradable waste. So to if you have some like dead animal on the water body, so some bacteria, protozoa, microorganism will automatically grown on that body, and they need oxygen for the survival, and that actually is called oxygen demanding waste. So basically all the biodegradable uh, waste are categorized in the oxygen demanding waste. Okay? And the sources are basically waste, paper mills, and food processing. The effect basically they dramatically reduce the oxygen content in water, and that can basically cause the death of the fishes, the mass death of the fishes, because immediately if the oxygen is not there, the fish will definitely die. Okay? Without oxygen, not they can survive. Okay? Inorganic chemicals basically the presence of very toxic metals. Like you heard about the Minamoto disease. Yeah, this basically due to that lead in Japan. So this happens. So the people eat that fish, and they all develop with this particular disease. Okay? So toxic materials like lead, arsenic, selenium, they are not good for our health. They immediately bind with our proteins and they destroy our protein activity. And if the protein dies, whatever that or if they don't work properly, we will definitely develop some disease. Okay, it could be cancer, it could be any other disorder that you can see. Okay, affect the wastewater contamination for drinking or irrigation, skin cancer, neck damage, harm fishes and other aquatic life, low crop yields, and the corrosion of the metals. Organic materials are basically the gasoline, oil, plastic, pesticide, and detergents. Human source are basically industrial influence because there are a lot of textile industries they're using surfactant or the color dyes. So all these they basically throw into that the nearby water bodies, affect the damage the nervous system, cause some cancers, and the harm fish and wildlife. Then plant nutrients, so basically that we use like ammonium sulfate, ammonium nitrate, all these fertilizers. Okay, so these are basically manure, soils, or runoff fertilizers. They are just collected in the nearby water body. They affect excessive growth of algae aquatic plants like weeds. Yeah, they reduce the dissolved oxygen and kill the fishes. Drinking water with excessive level of nitrates can lower the oxygen carrying capacity of the plant and kill the infants. Okay, so this is very severe. Radioactive pollutants, pollutants mainly sources the radioactive plants, so they mainly the power plants. And sometimes remember that what happened in the you know, I think that is in the Ukraine, Chernobyl, not Chernobyl, yes, Chernobyl. So all these things in nuclear focusing on power plant, what happened? Well, these are the like accident happen. All the radioactive elements just go to the nearby water bodies. And I heard that whatever happened in Japan due to that somehow vast in the power plant, all the way it crossed the Pacific Ocean, and that radioactive element was found in California. Okay, so basically you can see it takes some time, but it can float throughout the water, and then it can reach several thousand kilometers away. Okay, that can cause a lot of disease as well. One important thing, it can cause cancer, damage the ecosystem, and cause harmful effects on the human organisms. Sources of water pollution, one is point pollution, where you know exactly from where it is coming from in the industry. Okay, you know that if there is some industry producing some waste and that they mix with the water, you know from where does it come or where it is coming from. So you know that this is called point source. You know the exact pinpoint of that source. But there is some non-point sources because when there is a rain happen, it was out things, and you don't know from where what is coming because it all coming together. Okay, so that is called non-point sources. So I have one picture over here. So if something is urban streets, if it was out, you don't know exactly from where it is coming. But if it is an industry area, you know from where does it come. Okay, cropland. Okay, so all these are non-point sources. You don't know from where does it come. But if it is coming from a particular industry, you know this industry is using these particular chemicals, and whatever we are getting that is coming from there. So this is called point sources, and this is non-point sources. Okay, the control measures for water pollution. The water pollution should be controlled by state and central government. That's very important thing. The government should impose rules to what to do, what not to do. Okay, and that can actually can save our water. Really. Scientific methods should be followed for pollution control. The industrial effluent should be recycled or should be treated before it let it go into the nearby water body. And there a lot of enforcement laws should be being to the table, and that people should follow regulation. Okay, deforestation should be stopped. Plant more trees and create public awareness about that water pollution, and enhanced treatment for removal of nitrates and phosphates should be properly